How you feeling, baby?
A little shaky.
A little shaky? Why don't you tell us what happened?
I got an answer to my prayers. I knew exactly when we needed to be at the hospital, and I knew we didn't even have 30 seconds to leave the house any sooner.
Okay.
It was very scary.
Why don't you
when it got
explain?
scary. I had been nesting Sunday. I had so much energy to just pick all those citrus trees. Stop it. What's that?
That's just the going back.
And then Monday, I was restless, wanted to clean all day. And then Monday night around 10, the contractions started to fall into a pattern. And so I decided that I would just get what sleep I can and wait until they were under 5 minutes. They never really got under 5 minutes. They got about 5.5 minutes was the closest. And then they started to slow down throughout the day, about 9 to 10 minutes apart. And then we went to Joanne's so I could get his cribbing done, and we went and ate lunch. We picked up his car seat. So we ran some errands, and I had the notion that we should probably just go straight to the hospital, but I wanted to tough it out at home a little bit more because I really didn't want the epidural, and I didn't want my labor to stop and be stuck at the hospital. And upon getting out of the car when we got home, I knew I'd be getting back in that car within an hour. It's the honest truth. I didn't think it'd be 10 minutes later, but it was definitely, 10 minutes later we turned around and got back in the car.
You walked into bed, rolled over to one side, and then started screaming.
Yeah.
So maybe 5 minutes.
I definitely had that urge to push, and I couldn't quite figure out. Oh, so we drove here, and like they always say, that's the longest car ride of your life. And that definitely was. I didn't look out the windshield. I had my back to the windshield with the seatbelt around my tailbone because I had to bend over. I couldn't sit down because I felt like I was going to go number 2, like I needed to go number 2. And then when Quinton pulled up and then got me a wheelchair, I fell into the wheelchair. I could not sit up straight and felt my water break. And I walked into a bunch of nurses in the hall that just were all bug-eyed, wondering who I was. And then they noticed that I had ruptured. And then I heard someone reassuringly say, well, Dr. Beck just walked in. And that was a huge relief until the next contraction. And it was a relief to hear that I was already at the point where I was needing to push, because that's exactly how I felt. It was undeniable. And so we came in here, and I had my eyes closed most of the time because I was just trying to feel how to sit up. I couldn't tell what my body needed to do. I felt really clumsy with what my body was trying to do, with both trying to pair the breath and then position myself. It felt very clumsy, but I know it felt good to put my weight on you. That really helped, honey. And I'm sorry I screamed in your ear. I absolutely was screaming. And then the next thing I know, they told me to hold my breath for 10 seconds, which I wasn't going to be able to do. I thought they were like, are they kidding me? And the next thing I know, I saw him completely out of me. I didn't feel like I was pushing out a body. It just felt like my body was pushing. I didn't feel him or his head or anything, so I don't know how fast he came out. But
Airborne.
all I know is it felt good to push. It felt really good to push. And then when I saw him out, I was just in shock. I thought I'd be more sad and teary-eyed and crying, but I think I was just in pure shock.
Why don't you tell them how long you were actually pushing?
When I saw the nurses, they were standing below a big clock that said 5 o'clock. And then by the time he was in my arms, they said how much he weighed and how long he was, and that he was born at 5:22. So, to be honest, I didn't really know I was waiting for Dr. Beck. I just thought everyone was trying to scramble and get ready for me. I didn't realize I was waiting for him.
I was with the lady doing the paperwork for about 2 or 3 minutes, really quick. Came back in here, asked the nurses, okay, so the doctor's still coming. She needs to refrain from pushing, right? They're like, yes. And so I was in here a good 10, 15 minutes before before Dr. Beck had come in, and at that point in time, it was 5 minutes from you starting with Dr. Beck situated until you had the baby in your arms. It was amazing.
The screaming is embarrassing to think about, because Kim came in here, and evidently other people in the hospital could hear it. So that kind of sucks, but that was completely necessary.
Yeah, try not to laugh. I'm proud of you, hon. You did really good.
Now we just need to get him to nurse. Now that's the next thing I'm kind of worried about.
Try and get him to.
Go check him.
We'll go see what he's up to. See, we have him cooking underneath this nice warming tray. That's right. Almost got these McNuggets warm, huh? Yep, poor little guy. See his little feet turned in. We're gonna snip his wiener in a little bit.
Don't say it like that.
I mean, they're going to trim his manhood. Don't worry, the ladies are gonna